Hey everyone, it's Laura. Today I want to share my Flaunted Fridays project for this week with you. This week's cut was from Forever Young. It was like a silhouette of a girl's head, and I don't have the Forever Young cartridge, so I used Heritage, this one, and the cut I used was this on page 65. And I'll show you the pieces that I cut in a minute. But this is my project. So it's a tag, just a regular shipping tag. And I covered the front of it with a music printed paper. And I cut this piece. It's mostly covered now, but that was from Heritage also. So this is my version of the silhouette of the girl's head. That was from Forever Young. And when I saw these silhouettes, I thought of a cameo. So I wanted to kind of make it look like a cameo. So you know how it's always a colored background and then it has that milky, swirly looking, I guess it's a shell of some sort that this part's cut out of. So that was what I wanted to try and do. And so I don't know if you can, how well you can see it. But this is what I'm going to show you how to do today. How I made this cameo looking thing. But that's my tag. So I'll be right back to show you how I did this. Okay, I'm back. So you can see on this piece that I didn't want the background to be like a really intense color. I wanted it to be soft looking, this back part. So what I did is I cut the shape and its shadow, and then on my gypsy I took the shadow piece again and I hid the inside line. So I ended up with this, and I cut these three pieces out of the same color cardstock. It's like a parchment color cardstock. And then I just used distress ink and I colored the background of this piece so that it's a softer color rather than using a colored cardstock. And then I just inked the edges of the shadow piece, and this will go on here. And I just wanted a tiny little bit of the color on the shadow piece just so it stands out a little bit. So those are the three pieces that I used. So to get the swirly kind of look, I used the ultra thick embossing enamel, which is clear, right? And so to get the swirly look on it, I used a white, it's not a white, it's kind of a off-white regular embossing powder to add that on. So when I do non-stamping things with embossing powders or embossing enamel, I use this thing rather than using an embossing ink pad. And I just think it's easier to get this stuff onto your paper. So all I do is I take this and I just go like this. And I cover this whole piece. And the first coat isn't going to give you good coverage, so you're going to have to do it several times. So I'm just going to take my ultra thick embossing enamel and I'm going to cover this piece just like that. And I'm going to heat set this, and I won't make you listen to that, so I'll be right back. So now I've actually put 3 coats of ultra thick embossing enamel on just this piece, so you can see that it's pretty shiny and glossy, but it still doesn't have that look that I was going for. So I'm going to have to use the regular embossing powder in a bit. But first I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 2 coats of ultra thick embossing enamel on this piece. So I will do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so now for these 2 pieces I have 3, this is the top piece. So I have 3 coats of ultra thick embossing enamel on here. And then this is the second piece. I have 2 coats of ultra thick embossing enamel on this one. So, and then the back one I just leave plain. I have distress ink on it. That's it. So these 3 pieces layer like this. So the first thing I want to do, but I'm going to stick these 2 pieces together and then I'll just glue these 2 onto here when I'm done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this piece first, and I'm putting it in this little pan so that I don't get embossing powder everywhere. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this piece and sprinkle just a little bit more ultra thick embossing enamel on it to get it a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to take this, which is my white embossing powder. I'm going to sprinkle it over, and as the heat gun blows the melted embossing powder over the surface, it'll kind of swirl the white part, and you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to turn this on now, and I'm going to finish this top layer up. Okay, so you can see that I did. So now you can see that I have the clear and the white embossing powder on my top layer, so you can see how it kind of looks a little swirly or marbly. So now what I'm going to do is, remember this second layer already has ultra thick embossing enamel on it, so I'm just going to place this on top of the second layer and heat it, and when this one melts, the top layer will stick to it. And I'll just, if it doesn't stick, you can just kind of smush it with your tweezers and it'll stick to the embossing enamel on the second layer. So I'm going to do that now and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've put the 2 layers together and heated it up again with my heat gun, and that melts the layers of ultra thick embossing enamel together so that you get this now. The reason that I do the 2 layers is so that it just gets thicker. And also because you can see just a very slight edge of the shadow piece sticking out, and it just kind of gives it a nice dimension. So that's what I have here. So this is the top 2 layers stuck together. So all I'm going to do is then take this and glue it with a liquid glue to the backing piece so that it looks like that. And then this is what I then made my tag with. So it's just like a little faux cameo made with pieces that you cut from your Cricut. And so that's it. That's my Flaunted Fridays project for this week. So I hope you're able to stop by the Flaunted Fridays blog and join us in our challenge. The link is in the description below. So thanks for watching my video, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye!